While the nation was running short of oxygen and people were battling for breath, Hemkund Foundation came at the forefront for India's COVID relief. A team of volunteers worked day and night to provide oxygen cylinders to those in need. Led by Harteerath Singh, the Community Development Director at Hemkund Foundation, 150 volunteers addressed more than 1,500 calls from the entire country. NewsX proudly recognizes second wave superhero Harteerath Singh and the Hemkund Foundation.
Hello and welcome to NewsX Second Wave Superheroes. And Delhi was battling for breath. Hemkund Foundation acted as a life savior to many. Today on the show, we have Harteerath Singh, Community Development Director of Hemkund Foundation. Welcome to the show, Harteerath.
Thank you for having me.
My first question to you would be, how did this organization started? Like, what was the thought of starting the organization, and how did you started helping people around?
11 years ago, I think I was stuck in a disaster myself, and the response time was a lot. So we basically sort of bridging the gap, and how do we do it? We had to step our game up, obviously, and that is when Hemkund Foundation took birth. Because जब खुद को चोट लगती है, then you realize, here's the gap, and you need to bridge it. So Hemkund Foundation took birth in Uttarakhand itself during the floods, while we were being affected.
And how did it step up during the times of COVID, while there was the second wave of COVID? How did it accelerate and came at the forefront of helping people?
We have had experience of various disasters, be it Kerala, be it Uttarakhand floods, be it the Philippines volcanoes. So we guys are trained, but we've seen nothing like this before. Because you can't predict the wave, you can't really predict ki ab kya hoega aage. That is why this was different. But yes, we did have the skill sets. That is why we stepped up again. We knew that there will be oxygen shortage because we started before time. जब crisis आया उससे पहले शुरू हो गए थे. Even if you see before, the Maharashtra CM actually came, on a press conference saying that we need oxygen cylinders in Maharashtra. We had actually started distributing oxygen in Maharashtra 2 weeks prior to that. So it's all about timing, and it's all about executing everything, because you don't have a lot of time while doing all of this. So we started off with the regular oxygen cylinder drive. Then we started off with the oxygen drive-through, where people come in their cars and get oxygen. And the third was obviously the Oxygen Micro Center, which started in Gurgaon, then went to Mumbai. And now we're everywhere: Rajasthan, Jharkhand, Bihar, Uttarakhand, UP. You name the state, and all these tier 3 cities, and Hemkund Foundation is there with their micro oxygen center.
Okay, so while the nation was battling for breath, and you were there at the forefront helping out people, you and your organization was there. What were the major challenges that were faced by you and your organization and you personally while helping out people? Because obviously the resources are limited, and everything is limited, and there was havoc across the nation. So what were the major challenges faced by you?
See, the biggest challenge is procurement itself, because you can't waste time. So you need to be fast, but you also need to be mindful to get the right price, at the right price, get the oxygen cylinders and the concentrators. So it has to be a mixture of both. You can't delay stuff, but you also need to be mindful that at the end, it is the donations you're working with. So you need to be mindful of that as well. And you can't overspend or be a spendthrift. So we started importing. So we were getting good rates, and the time was also good. This is when we had already overused all the resources. For example, we had started getting in cylinders from Punjab, from South India to Delhi, because Delhi was facing the shortage back then. Tab ki baat hai jab we were getting Twitter SOS calls like 30 minutes of oxygen left in this hospital. So tab we already started getting in, concentrators and cylinders from Punjab and South India. But then we had to move to other countries to support all the other states, because then we started moving ahead from Delhi. Himachal Pradesh, UP, and all of these cities. So then we had to get in everything from abroad. So that was the biggest problem. And then the second is, of course, the mental health of all the volunteers, including myself. When you see so many deaths happening in front of you, you see so many people crying, it isn't easy to, just go home and sleep. That isn't something which which is possible. It's like a privilege for us कि हम किस दिन जा रहे हैं और हमें आधे घंटे में नींद आ गई. That isn't possible. So mental health is also a very big issue, and that brings down our efficiency. So we always need to be mindful of being positive. And एक पंजाबी में word है चढ़ती कला, which is ever rising positive spirits. तो वो हम बचपन से सीख रहे हैं, but now is the time to actually implement the spirit of चढ़ती कला. So it's obviously difficult, but yeah, someone has to do it, and I'm glad we've gotten the chance to serve people.
Okay, while you were talking that your mental health and your volunteers' mental health was severely affected during these times. So what was one thing that kept you all together and kept you all running while doing this, while helping out people, keeping your life at the risk? Because obviously, when you are obviously providing oxygen cylinders, you yourself are also putting yourself at the risk. So what was one thing that kept you and all your volunteers together to help people out there?
You just look at our amazing history. Asni ki seva aaj start hui. It's been happening since the past 400 years, and that is where we take our inspiration from. गुरु नानक ने एक एफडी लगा दी थी 400 साल पहले जो हमें आज तक रिटर्न दे रही है. And that is the only thing I tell everyone, that is your inspiration, single source of inspiration. जब भी people needed us, we've always stepped up in the past as well. Be it Saragadi, be it the countless wars we have fought, or be it any help, Syria for example, border पे we're serving people. Be it any country, Philippines, we were there as well during the volcano eruption. ये नहीं खाली India, wherever people need us, regardless of faith, regardless of color, gender, religion, caste, we as a community have always helped people because of the concept of seva, and that is where we always take our inspiration from.
Okay, so at any point of time while helping out people, like obviously you also have a family and volunteers also have a family, and at any point of time was there certain amount of emotional attachment that was coming in between the way, and you, any one of your volunteers or you thought of going back and or stepping down a little bit from helping people?
See, 2 days ago only I had 4 of my volunteers going back home. वो चले तो गए, but then the next day I get a call saying that we can't sit at home, हमसे नहीं देखे जा रहा. So even if someone does decide to go back, that would be a rare case. कोई चले भी जाते हैं, वो वापस आ जाते हैं. Why? Because they know the pain of the people, they know the suffering of the people, and once you've seen it from your own eyes, you can't sit at home being idle. तो जो भी कोई वापस जाता है वो खुद एक दिन वापस आ जाते हैं. Because
thank you, Harteerath, for talking to us. Thank you so much for your time, and we at NewsX really appreciate your effort, and we salute you for being the superheroes in the second wave and saving thousands of life out there. Thank you so much.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.